Welcome to Better Version Book Club, the podcast where we break down the world's most powerful business and personal development books so you can become a better version of yourself without reading every page.
Because let's be honest, we all want the knowledge. We just don't always have the time, patience, or emotional bandwidth to read 300 pages before breakfast.
Each episode, we take one influential book, strip away the fluff, challenge the cliches, and focus on the ideas that actually change how you think, work, and live in the real world.
No guru worship, no motivational shouting, just real conversations about principles that stand the test of time and how to apply them in real life.
Today's book is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, a timeless framework for personal leadership, relationships, and long-term effectiveness.
This isn't about productivity hacks or color coding your calendar. It's about building the kind of habits that quietly compound into a life that actually works.
So whether you're driving, training, walking, or just taking a moment for yourself, let's dive in.
All right, The 7 Habits. This book is a giant, isn't it? I feel like it's been on every CEO's bookshelf since the dawn of time, right next to a copy of The Art of War and a very expensive paperweight.
It really is. And I think because of that, a lot of people dismiss it as dated corporate speak. They hear synergize and their eyes glaze over.
Completely. My eyes are glazing over right now.
But that's exactly why we need to talk about it. Because if you strip away the 90s business jargon, what Covey is offering isn't a set of tactics. It's an operating system for life. It's about building character from the inside out.
An operating system. I like that. So it's less about which apps you use and more about the fundamental code that's running the whole machine.
Exactly. He makes a powerful distinction between what he calls the personality ethic, which is all about image, quick fixes, and social band-aids, and the character ethic, which is based on timeless principles like integrity, responsibility, and courage.
Right. So it's the difference between learning how to give a good handshake and actually being trustworthy.
That's a perfect way to put it. And the core idea of the whole book is this journey he calls the maturity continuum. It's a progression from dependence to independence and finally to interdependence.
Okay, break that down for us.
Well, we all start as dependent, like infants, relying on others for everything. The first 3 habits are about achieving what Covey calls private victory. It's the journey to independence, where you learn to manage yourself. You become the master of your own ship.
So get your own house in order. Don't blame your parents or your boss or Mercury being in retrograde for your problem.
Exactly. But independence isn't the final goal. A lot of society celebrates independence, but Covey argues the highest level of maturity is interdependence. That's where the next 3 habits come in, leading to public victory.
Which is a big shift because independence feels like the finish line for a lot of people.
Right, and this is where you realize that your independent, well-managed self can achieve far more by cooperating effectively with other independent, well-managed selves.
It's the we is greater than the me. Got it. So first you learn to drive your own car. Then you learn to drive safely and cooperatively on a highway with other drivers to get somewhere amazing together.
That's the perfect analogy, and this progression is why the habits are in the order they are. You can't achieve public victory without private victory first.
Okay, so let's get into it. The private victory. Habit 1. Be proactive. This one sounds simple, but it's actually pretty deep.
It's the foundation for everything. Being proactive isn't just about taking initiative. It's about recognizing that between a stimulus and your response, you have a space. And in that space lies your freedom and power to choose your response.
Right, so someone cuts you off in traffic. The stimulus. The reactive response is laying on the horn, shouting, letting it ruin your morning.
Yes, whereas the proactive response is to pause, take a breath, and choose differently. Maybe you assume they're rushing to the hospital. Maybe you just let it go and refocus on the podcast you're listening to. You control your weather. They don't.
Covey talks about the circle of concern and the circle of influence here, right?
He does. Our circle of concern includes everything we care about, the economy, politics, other people's behavior. But our circle of influence is much smaller. It's the things we can actually do something about. Proactive people focus their energy on their circle of influence.
which counterintuitively makes their circle of influence grow, while reactive people who just complain about things they can't control find their circle of influence shrinks. That's a huge mental shift.
It is. It's the shift from victimhood to ownership, which leads directly into habit two. Begin with the end in mind. Think about it at work. Their reactive person says, "My boss is a micromanager. I can't get anything done." Their focus is on their boss's behavior, circle of concern. The proactive person says, "Okay, my boss needs a lot of updates. I'm going to schedule a 10-minute check-in every morning to give them the information they need. That way, they won't need to chase me all day." They're focusing on their own actions, circle of influence.
So, being proactive with money isn't just about not buying the expensive coffee. It's about automating savings, setting up a budget, basically telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went.
Exactly. The reactive person lives in fear of the credit card bill. The proactive person has a plan for the bill before it even arrives. They're acting on their finances, not being acted upon by them.
Ah, yes, the famous imagine your own funeral exercise. A little morbid, but effective.
It is a powerful image, but it's not just about that. It's about understanding that everything is created twice. First, there's the mental creation, the plan, the blueprint, the vision. Then there's the physical creation. If you don't take charge of the mental creation, someone or something else will.
So it's about not just climbing the ladder of success, but first making sure the ladder is leaning against the right wall.
Precisely. The practical application here is creating a personal mission statement, and I know that can sound very corporate and sterile.
Does. It sounds like something you'd see on a motivational poster in a dentist office.
But if you reframe it as your personal constitution, it's incredibly powerful. It's about defining your core values. What kind of person do you want to be? What do you want to contribute? When you have that clarity, making daily decisions becomes so much easier.
That end in mind thing hits hard with parenting. Most days, you're just trying to survive until bedtime without a major crayon on the wall incident.
It's true. But if you have an end in mind, like, "I want to raise a kind, resilient, independent adult," it changes your daily decisions. You're not just stopping a tantrum, you're teaching emotional regulation. You're playing the long game.
Okay, that makes sense. It's your personal North Star. Which brings us to habit three, put first things first. This is where the rubber meets the road, right?
This is the physical creation that follows the mental creation of habit two. It's about managing your time and your life according to your values. Covey introduces the famous time management matrix.
The four quadrants urgent, not urgent, important, not important.
Right. Quadrant 1 is crises, urgent and important. We have to spend time here. Quadrant 3 is interruptions, urgent but not important, like many emails and pointless meetings. Quadrant 4 is distractions, not urgent and not important. Think endless scrolling on social media.
Okay, so where's the magic?
The magic is in quadrant 2. It's the stuff that is important but not urgent. Things like building relationships, long-term planning, exercise, learning new skills. This is the quadrant of effectiveness. But because it's not urgent, it's easy to neglect.
So the goal is to shrink quadrant 1 by spending more time in quadrant 2. Planning and prevention means fewer crises later on.
You've got it. It requires the proactivity of habit 1 to say no to unimportant things, and the clarity of habit 2 to know what is truly important. That's the private victory. You're in charge of you.
Okay, so what does a quadrant 2 weekly planning session actually look like? Is it some color-coded multi-tab spreadsheet that takes 3 hours to fill out?
Not at all. It can be as simple as taking 30 minutes on a Sunday evening. You look at your roles, parent, team lead, friend, and you ask, what is the most important thing I can do in each of these roles this week to move toward my long-term goals? Then you schedule those things first. before the week's urgent demands flood your calendar.
And as you're listening, it's worth asking yourself, which of these first three habits am I currently neglecting? Because that's probably where the biggest return is. Okay, I've sorted myself out. I'm a proactive, mission-driven, quadrant 2 living machine. Now what? Time for public victory.
Now we move into interdependence, and it starts with habit 4. Think win-win.
Another one that sounds like corporate bingo.
It does, but it's a profound shift in mindset. Most of us are conditioned to think win-lose. In sports, in school, even in some families, for one person to win, another has to lose.
Right, scarcity mentality. There's only so much pie to go around, and I need to get the biggest slice.
Exactly. Win-win is a frame of mind that constantly seeks mutual benefit in all human interactions. It's based on an abundance mentality, the idea that there is plenty out there for everybody. It's not your way or my way, it's a better way. And Covey's clear, if you can't reach a win-win, you should walk away. No deal is a better option than a win-lose or lose-win compromise.
The classic vacation standoff. One person wants to lie on a beach for a week, the other wants to hike a volcano. That feels like a textbook win-lose.
It does, but that's where you look for the third alternative. The win-win isn't a compromise, like 3 days on the beach and 3 days hiking. It's asking why. Why the beach? To relax and disconnect. Why the volcano? For adventure and a sense of accomplishment. The win-win could be a beautiful resort near a national park, where you can have quiet mornings by the pool and adventurous afternoons exploring trails. It meets both underlying needs.
That's a high bar. It takes a lot of maturity. And to even know what the other person considers a win, you'd have to, listen to them.
And you've just set up habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood.
D, I was listening.
This is the single most important principle of interpersonal communication. Most of us don't listen with the intent to understand. We listen with the intent to reply. We're either speaking or preparing to speak.
100% guilty. I'm already thinking about what I'm going to say next while you're talking.
We all do it. Covey talks about empathetic listening. Listening with your ears, your eyes, and your heart. It's about getting inside another person's frame of reference. You don't have to agree with them, you just have to deeply understand them. Only then can you effectively work on a win-win solution.
It's like diagnosing before you prescribe. A doctor who just hands out pills without understanding the symptoms is committing malpractice. We do it in conversation all the time.
That's it. So once you have the win-win mindset and the skill of empathetic listening, you can move to habit 6, synergize.
All right, let's have it. The king of corporate jargon. What does it actually mean?
Simply put, it means the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. It's the idea that 1 + 1 can equal 3 or 10 or 100. It's the creative cooperation that comes from truly valuing differences.
Okay, so it's not just compromise. Compromise is 1 + 1 = 1.5. Everyone loses something.
Exactly. Synergy is about creating a third alternative that is better than what either of you could have come up with alone. It happens when you combine the win-win attitude of habit 4 with the communication skills of habit 5. You have a shared goal and you respect each other enough to create something new together.
It's that magic you feel in a really great band or a sports team where everything just clicks.
That's a perfect example. That's synergy in action. And those 6 habits together create a powerful cycle of growth, which brings us to the final habit, which kind of surrounds all the others. Habit 7, sharpen the saw.
This sounds like maintenance.
It is. It's the habit of self-renewal. Covey tells a story of a man trying to saw down a tree for hours, getting exhausted. Someone suggests he stop and sharpen the saw, but he says, "I don't have time. I'm too busy sawing."
Which is crazy, but we do it all the time. We work until we burn out, we neglect our health, our relationships, all in the name of sawing.
We do. Habit 7 is about taking the time to renew yourself in 4 key dimensions: the physical, exercise, nutrition, and rest; the spiritual, meditation, prayer, time in nature, connecting with your values; the mental, reading, learning, writing, planning; and the social, emotional,
making meaningful connections, serving others, practicing empathy. It's the habit that makes all the other habits possible.
It's not selfish, it's essential maintenance. You wouldn't drive a car for 100,000 miles without an oil change, right? Your brain and body are no different. It's the ultimate quadrant 2 activity. It's important, but rarely feels urgent until it's too late.
That's the beautiful symmetry of it. The book ends where it begins, with you. It's a continuous upward spiral of learning, committing, and doing on a higher and higher plane.
You know, as we walk through these, it strikes me that so much of it feels like fundamental common sense. Don't be a jerk, listen to people, take care of yourself, plan ahead. It's the kind of advice your grandpa would give you. And yet, the book has sold over 40 million copies. I think it's because he gave us a framework and a language for these things. But let me play devil's advocate. In our hyper-connected, tech-driven, gig economy world, is this 1989 rulebook still relevant, or is it too simplistic?
That's a brilliant question, and I think it's the most important one to ask. I'd argue it's more relevant than ever. The tactics of productivity have changed for sure. We have apps, calendars, and AI assistants. But the principles Covey talks about are foundational. Proactivity isn't about a to-do list app. It's about taking ownership in a world where it's incredibly easy to be reactive to notifications, to news cycles, to outrage.
Okay, but let's get specific. What about habit 5, seek first to understand in a world of social media arguments? It feels like the internet is designed for the exact opposite. We're rewarded for dunking on people, not for empathetic listening.
That's precisely where it becomes a superpower. Imagine wading into a comment section not to win, but to genuinely ask, what's the experience or value that's leading this person to this conclusion? It's not about changing their mind. It's about refusing to let the algorithm turn you into a reactive shell of a person. It's choosing your response.
So you're saying I should sharpen the saw by not rage scrolling through my uncle's political posts? That feels like a win right there.
Exactly. Or think win-win in a salary negotiation. The standard advice is to play hardball. It's a win-lose game. But a true win-win approach means looking beyond the base salary. Maybe the company can't meet your number, but they can offer more vacation days, a better title, a professional development budget, or more flexible hours. The win isn't just a number. It's a package that values both your contribution and the company's constraints.
That sounds great in theory, but some situations are inherently win-lose. Sports, for instance, or two companies bidding for the same contract. Someone has to lose.
For sure, Covey acknowledges that not every single interaction can be win-win, but the mindset of seeking it is what matters. It forces you to be creative, and in relationships with your partner, your kids, your long-term colleagues, if you're consistently playing a win-lose game, you'll eventually lose the entire relationship. That's the ultimate lose-lose scenario.
Okay, I see the light. I'm going to synergize my way to a better life. But I still think my main quadrant 2 activity is figuring out what to watch on Netflix.
That's a start. As long as you're choosing it proactively and not just defaulting to it after hours of mindless scrolling. It's all about intention.
Let's talk about habit 3, put first things first, in the age of Slack and Microsoft Teams. These tools feel like they were scientifically engineered to destroy quadrant 2. Everything is an urgent notification. The little red dot is a tyrant. How do you focus on the important, not urgent, when your job is a constant stream of the apparently urgent, probably not important?
You've hit on the modern effectiveness crisis. The tools promise productivity but often deliver distraction. This is where habit 1, be proactive, becomes your shield. You have to proactively manage your technology, or it will reactively manage you. This means turning off notifications, blocking out focus time in your calendar, and training your colleagues that an instant message does not require an instant response. You decide when to enter the urgent stream. You don't live in it.
Okay, so being proactive isn't just about defending my time, it's also about offense, right? What about personal career growth? Most people are reactive. They wait for a manager to assign a training or suggest a new role. Is the proactive approach just asking for a raise every 6 months?
Not quite.
Proactive career growth is applying begin with the end in mind to your professional life. It means asking, what skills do I need for the role I want in 3 years? Then you proactively seek out projects or training to build those skills. Don't wait for the annual review, schedule a conversation with your manager about your growth trajectory. It's the difference between being a passenger in your career and being the driver.
Though it's about actively building the future you want instead of just letting it happen to you. It's taking your career off autopilot. I guess that makes sense. It's a lot harder than just complaining about your current job, though.
So that's the 7 habits of highly effective people. Not a quick fix, not a shortcut, but a reminder that real effectiveness starts from the inside out.
The circle of concern has exploded thanks to the internet. We're flooded with noise we can't control. Focusing on your circle of influence, your actions, your relationships, your values, is no longer just helpful, it's essential.
Because becoming a better version of yourself isn't about doing more, it's about living and leading with intention.
You don't need to master all 7 habits this week. Just pick one, apply it, let it compound.
If you found this episode useful, take a moment to subscribe, share it with someone who'd enjoy it, or save it for later.
Because the right idea at the right time can genuinely change the direction of your life.
This is Better Version Book Club, helping you become a better version of yourself, one book at a time.